got the last one cut out on me. So it's kind of appropriate though, because that was like version 1. So now I'm going to lay out version 2, because I'm going to take some paracord line here, and then I am going to tie onto from one end to the other, but it may take me a minute to unravel this. But in the meantime, let's cover why I'd want to do a different version. Now, originally, the way I laid this out, I just wanted to see what would happen if I made it essentially as small as I could with the materials I have, given the wingspan I wanted at least 8 feet. Came out 8 foot 1 inch, if you didn't see the last video, in this configuration, by 6 foot 7 inches, which is really, really nice, you guys. Came out really nice. I'm actually really, really happy with that. So all I needed to do here was get enough paracord for us to get this going, and I have that. So we're going to move forward because, well, in truth, I still have quite a bit dangly on one end. I really don't need to worry about it so much. I just want to pull it just enough through that I can make this mission happen, but it's a fair bit I need because I'm going to use it to help me tailor the sail. And when I'm done, we're going to install it permanently into the sail. And the reason is it's going to make it so that this is so much better, guys. You'll see. It'll make it bigger and give me a nice shape. Now, right now, I like the shape, but it's too small. And I thought, you know what? I really need to lay out as much of a surface area as I could possibly get out of this useful-wise, instead of as little as I can. So, whereas this one pretty much is exactly as little as I can model. So, what we're going to do is we're going to start from the far side of this, and I'm going to lay out my paracord, and all I'm doing is tying it from one corner to the other without adding tension on from one side to the other. So, I want each line to be taut. So all I'm going to do is come along my hockey stick and tie this on. Whammo bammo. Like so. Now, I'm going to kind of hold this apart with my foot, put pressure against it with this one to lay it out, bring up a line, and do a double wrap. And then come down the exact opposite side, holding similar tension. And come down and tie off this side. In this case, I'm just going to do a couple of wraps, just to kind of temporarily hold this sucker into place, because this isn't going to be necessarily permanent right now. We just want to kind of eyeball it for permanency later. Because it does seem like this is going to be the way I want to go. So now what we do is we take all of this material that we had here, for the other version, and we do the exact opposite of what you see here, where we take up as much material as possible, and we do the opposite. We bring this up as high as we can and hang this over, wrap it round, and then snug it off as high up here as I can, like so, and then start laying my line, and then just lay these along the paracord so that I maintain a little tension in the kite. I'm not trying to take up a lot of play here. I'll do that in a little bit. All right, so this gives me, while keeping me the exact same overall profile, guys. It really is. There's no difference in terms of the wingspan or in terms of the length. Those two things did not change just now. But as you can see by looking at one side versus the other, there's a huge difference here in surface area. And that will become clear momentarily as we make this happen. So we want to go underneath with everything and then come back around. Back over top And then just start laying down on top of that line, just like so. Because that is our tension line. That is holding roughly the tension of the overall setup that we need. So as long as we don't go out of our way to really corrupt that, and I kind of do one of these and provide a little tension, I can just take up play and slam this onto my line, just like that. I can tell you there are other methods to do this, guys, but you can take my word for it or not. I've done a fair bit of experimenting with this, and this is the best method I've found. It's by far the easiest. So now we have the same kite, only in a very different profile. And there's enough material on the back side because we went over one way on one side and the other way on the other side. Well, that's not actually ideal. So we're going to fix that. And the reason is, when I flip it over, you'll see why. And the answer is we got enough material to double over almost the entire sail and make it that much stronger. And that is something the other configuration allowed me. And I didn't think this one would, but it apparently does. So that is good. And again, all I want to do is hold this so that that line is under some tension. That just came loose in here, so that kind of corrupted it. It's like I said, you don't want to corrupt your tension on that line. So you want to kind of keep a clamp on it. I let that come off. But all we need to do is fold the whole thing over, tip it forward, and wrap it tight like a present. And now we can come along here and down from there. Just sliding down progressively. But I do want to kind of keep some tension on this line so that it makes it easier for me. Then I can just come down here just by holding that one finger out, man. Makes it so much easier, just holding that bit of tension on the line. Now, I want to go back the other way and kind of push it the other way and do the exact same thing again. As always, when tensioning like this, you pretty much need to do it multiple times. But each time, all I'm doing is taking up a little material, trying to take about the same each time. Also, I've noticed these clamps get a lot better grip on something like this. If you use the hinge part of the clamp, there's a deep section in the clamp that actually has the shape you need to grip this perfectly built into it. And it's right, if you zoom in, you'll see it. It's right inside this little groove here. And you just latch that on, and it's like the perfect shape of the paracord and the whole thing. So it works out real good. And again, all I'm doing, working my way down, working some of the material off the front side and around to the back side, because the back side is not needing it, for one, right now. And, well, when it's done, it'll be all good. So, now we've got that part dealt with. We're going to take a couple more clamps, just so I can progressively tighten everything as I go. I want to be able to tighten the material out at the tip too. And sometimes that means a little wraparound like that. So, I'm going to go back over to this side, do my tip here just to help hold it all under the correct tension. And do the exact same thing. Come along with the back and just roll some of this material off of the top. And then put the stronger section of the clamp on it so that it actually does hold all this in place properly and it won't slip on you. Don't just use the front teeth as a clamp. That's not what that's for, believe it or not. That's for softer jobs. You want to use this hole right here. Right here. And then it's locked in good. But as you can see, we're taking up a lot more tension now. And I'm not going to want to take up more than this until I get real tailoring starting to happen and my tips get made and all that stuff. But you can see that one just kind of slipped right off of there. and this one won't. This one could just slip right off because I only had it gripped here. That's okay, but it's not as good as gripping it right deep up the inner edge. So now we get another idea of what this could be like, because this is going to be the actual shape. And you know what's funny about it? It looks identical. It really does. It doesn't significantly look like there's a difference in terms of the material, like at all. But there is. There's a huge difference now. And now what I'm seeing is my kite is bigger, noticeably bigger. It's another 2 feet wider across the middle. Easy. Another few inches wider along the base of the tail, which doesn't seem significant, but that's only at the base of the tail. And that whole line follows down all the way down the whole length of the kite, guys. So I'm just continuing this process and rolling some in to get the correct amount into this that I want on both sides. And once I'm done, I'll have a much better idea of how much material I'm really going to have. Now, one of the reasons I want to do this is because I want this front edge as tight as I can get it once it's established on its line. And I want this top edge with some luff, but not too much. And what I'm seeing here is way too much. So we just want to keep going. And now at this point, you know, I can't give you too much advice beyond too much is too much and not enough is not enough. I know that sounds horrible, but it all depends on your exact body weight and all that. And I know I want about that much room in it, but no more. And any more than that, I want to take out. So I'm kind of giving it one of these and then seeing how much left it's got and then taking that extra out. See this? I see there's less tension, so grab it, lock it off, pull this one out, and just do the same. Pull this up and pull the tension out. Now there comes a point where you can't really go any further because, well, you'll see. You're just going to make it harder on yourself as you get to the final stage here. You're going to find out that this is pulled down a little more than it ought to be by the tension, which is good though, because once I make my back pocket and use it to tension, it'll work. So it doesn't really look like there's much of a difference here. But there is. And it's not out at the tips, but it was a much shallower line. And this will give me a much greater overall surface area. Also, this line isn't tight. And when it is, I'm going to leave a paracord line here to help that edge stay tight, you guys. It'll help, and it'll be sewn into the sail where it's doubled over here. It's one of the reasons I want to lay up that line perfect, because I can't sew it in until it's perfect. So, right now this is just the mock-up though, but I like it. I like the shape. It's got a nice amount of luft here, not too much, enough for me to create a nice wing shape. And it's tighter going towards the back progressively, which is what I need. So this is looking really good. That's looking like a good overall shape. I'm sure that it will glide me. And this is a big kite. I mean, this could be the kind where I could kite up and use the Superman rig, or use it like a glider under the hang glider rig, under the new rig I'm making. So I'm looking forward to it. So there's one thing, and I wanted to cover that because this is really the next phase for me, is to sit here for a few hours, think about it, lay up more fabric adjustments, fine-tune things and adjust things until I get it perfect and I'm real happy. Now we're going to look at the backside like I told you, because once we do, we see what's up. I wasn't kidding about having enough room to double all this over. Like, look at that. I can double the whole thing right down to here, right edge to edge, and then use the extra material to double over the backside. That's actually the underside and the front of that wing. So this would be the bottom of the wing. So what I want to do is make the bottom of the wing smooth, so there's none of this. But that's good, because that'll be my wing shape. And once the bottom of the kite is smooth and the top has its wing shape, it'll slow the air down coming over the top, speed it up along the backside. This is going to be a really good shape. I'm sure of it. And so this is going to be really a true K glider, which is what I wanted anyway, guys. A kite glider, a sail that is both a kite and a glider, man. Something extreme, a real star, something you could have fun on. And so that's what this is, man. This is going to be awesome. I'm pretty sure, but now it bears finishing. So this has been a long process as I think my way through it and plan it all out. But right now we're looking at 8'1" by 6'7". And those are actually really nice numbers because the kite's noticeably longer than I am. It's almost 2 feet taller than I am. Not quite, but it's almost a full foot longer than I am, which is good because it extends out over my tail and carries my weight. I can have the wings sit out a little ahead of me by an inch or two, and the other 3 or 4 out over my feet, which is good. As you can see, it's got a nice shape for that. So I was looking at that and realized, I'm only going to come to about here. And that means that's my tail is the other option. And this comes right where my head is right here. And that's ideal for me. That really is. It puts my shoulders right around the center of gravity would be. And that's ideal. This is going to be great. And it makes it really easy for me to change my center of gravity with the setup I have. So at this point, I need to clear this from this room so my roommates can come home. But I kind of wanted to cover that too, because this is something you're going to have to work on, guys. So give me a second here, and I'm going to take this out, and I'm just going to set it up and see if I have somewhere I can set it up real quick without taking it apart. And all I want to do, oh, look at that. It just barely fits through the door in one hand. And this was one of the requirements. I wanted it to just barely fit out a door in piece so that I could carry it and bring it right outside if I felt the need. Well, clearly, that is now an actual possibility. So one of the things I can do is to bring this material, this extra material I was talking about over, bring it around the back side, and then start using clamps to take up that material. And that's what I'm going to do. Because this is another way to tension it. And you can do it right here while it's standing up with you. And what you're going to do is just tension it so it's tight. Bring a clamp along the back side. Make it so it's tight. Bring a clamp along the back side. And if you want, you can fold in both layers of material like I'm doing here, just to take up the extra play. And this will help me to keep the kite together for a little while without things sliding around. Because it's important they don't, damn it. And look at that, already this is so much tighter now just doing this. And this is one of those things, this spar is going to be locked into the material as well. And as you can see now, this is a lot tighter. And if I wanted to, I could start trying to incorporate both sides of the material in here so I really see how much room that gives me. And that actually is looking really good. Quite liking this. Absolutely. So I'll just show you really quickly what I've done here. So all I've done is come along the back side and take up tension both here and here. And now we have the kite fully tensioned, and you can kind of get an idea what the shape of it's going to be. But as I said, roommates are here. Gotta go.